Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ellie if you're new here. And today I'm going to take you guys along on another day as a mom of four. Today is kind of a day of just random things. I have been working on our bedroom. I think if you guys have seen a couple previous videos, you will know that our bedroom is a work in progress. And if you guys go back and watch my home tour of when we first moved in, you will see the before of how ugly this room was. This room has needed so much love and work, and it has been a slow process. The walls used to have a wallpaper border all around the top of the room, and then the walls were all painted this ugly mocha brown color, and all of this trim was very outdated in wood. And I have slowly painted the doors and trim around the doors a nice warm white. We've changed out hardware to black just to kind of update the space without breaking the bank of updating all the trim and buying doors and all of that. Just updating these things are pretty inexpensive, and it just really freshens up the room. So this is what the trim looked like before I decided to paint all of it the same color as the wall. This was something I debated on because at first I did paint it white in one area to kind of see what I was thinking and what I liked. And when it came down to it, I was like, I don't want to see the trim, the baseboards. I don't want my eye to be drawn to the baseboards. I want them to blend into the wall. And I think this is kind of a trendy thing. It's called color drenching. Although I don't want to do it to the whole room, I just wanted to do it to the baseboards. And I think that was the perfect idea because it looks so good, you guys. After I did this, I was so amazed. But then also, Taylor had to go in and nail with his nail gun a lot of these baseboards back into the wall because originally they didn't do it very well. And I decided to use caulk all of these gaps and holes and nicks and just try to make the baseboards look as seamless and like the least noticeable thing in the room. And I will say, filling in all the cracks and holes has been the biggest game changer in the way a lot of the trim and baseboards have looked in our home since I've been painting everything. It literally will make it look so professional and so clean, and I love that look. So that's kind of what I was focusing on this morning. Taylor was watching the kids, and then I decided to open up these flowers from Trader Joe's. The day before was my birthday, and I love to get coffee, get flowers, and usually go and do something fun, go to Anthropologie. And so we went to Tulsa, and we ended up taking the kids to I think it's the Discovery Lab in Tulsa, and they had a blast. So we did that first, kind of get the wiggles out for them, so that way Mama could enjoy some other fun errands that make me happy and bring me joy. And every year I love to do just a few things like coffee and flowers, and I ended up finding a used homeschool curriculum bookstore, so I hopped in there, and that was a lot of fun. And then I went to Anthropologie, got a new coffee mug, a tea towel, and shopped around there for a little bit. I also bought myself a coffee table book by Amy Merrick. Beautiful book on cut flowers and arranging flowers. And the sad thing is, I did thankfully get to look at it, but we had gone to church and came back, and the dog had completely shredded that book. Completely shredded it, you guys. Taylor and I were in shock. Not believe he did that. So we for sure need to make sure the dog does get put in the kennel. It was literally irresponsible of us to leave him out. He's just never done anything like that. And so that was a bit of a bummer. So I will have to repurchase that book because I thought it was a great book. It is a beautiful book, and I have really found a love for flowers. I love flowers. I've always loved flowers. I kind of get this from my dad. He is a big plant lover. He has done landscape designing and landscaping all my growing up years. We actually used to help him landscape a lot of jobs, and we used to have a greenhouse and used to sell plants and start seedlings. So we did a lot with flowers, and I really have a huge love of doing anything with floral arranging and growing my own seeds and, all the things. It has just been a love from the beginning. And so these small things definitely make me happy. And being a minimalist, I think flowers are like the perfect thing to make any room look so cheery and brighten up the space, especially in the wintertime. I love flowers in the wintertime because it just makes you feel happy, and it just brings that pop of greenery and color to your space when it can feel so dreary. And I love tulips, and so I decided to pick up 2 bouquets of tulips, and I just did some basic white, and then I ended up grabbing 2 drinking glasses, and I honestly just use what I have. I actually own 2 vases, and it's this little greenish gray pitcher and then the yellow one. I think they're vintage. And then I just use whatever else I have on hand. I don't really like to keep stuff like that around because any item that can hold water is great for putting flowers in. Any old jam jar or mason jar, honestly, you can get so creative. So vases aren't really something I keep around. I really like a wide mouth pitcher. I think those really can hold a really pretty bouquet. And I love roses, you guys. I love a coral rose or a pretty peachy rose or antique roses. I think they're so simple, but they are so beautiful and classy. So that's kind of what I went with. And also some eucalyptus greenery is always a must when you want to add to a bouquet. It really takes it to a whole nother level, in my opinion, and makes it look so professional when it's really just the simplest thing. Oh, and also if you spin flowers like this, it really helps them to open up. So that way they will break open quicker and you can see them more. And I also like to break open the petals just a little bit. You can snap them open a little bit without tearing them. And that'll help them pop open a little bit quicker too, instead of just, how they come where they're all tightly bound. And I really like to just see them open up, and it kind of makes your vase fuller, in my opinion. See, just like this, you're just slowly peeling back those petals. You can kind of hear a little snap, and some of these were actually really too tight, so I was really trying to be careful. But see, once you start doing that, the next day, they will really start to open up more, and they are beautiful. And I really think that's a really easy tip to make grocery store flowers look so pretty. So I've always done that. Past several years, I've always done that, and it really it makes it look so charming. And this greenery, look at that, just the pop of green in there. It's just such a happy little bouquet. So anyway, I really had a ton of fun doing this. Ivy was my little helper. She was a little too much help, but she loved the process of Mama putting these little bouquets together. And so I just had fun kind of dispersing them throughout the house and making the spaces look fresh and vibrant, even though it is in the dead of winter and it's January and seasonal depression is at its highest. Okay, so that was the caulked trim and it looked so good. Also, I got another curtain and curtain rod, and so the other window in our bedroom got completed, and so that felt so good just to have both windows done, and it looked great. I am loving the way our room is coming together. It has just been so fun to make our home feel cozy and inviting, and just to make it feel like our home. So I finally decided to get dinner going. It was almost 4 o'clock, and I have learned if I don't start dinner right at 4 or a little after 4, my kids are usually crying and fussy and they are starving, because we eat dinner usually around 5 or 5:30. And so the sooner we get this going, the better. So tonight was a creamy sausage tortellini soup. This has been a favorite recipe of mine for a really long time. It is so simple, so easy. The ingredients are really clean, and my family loves it. It's literally got meat, pasta, a yummy creamy sauce. It's got tomatoes in it, and it's always a hit. So I was trying to get this going, getting this whipped up, and I think I'll try and link this recipe. It's from Pinterest, and I'll see if I can find it and link it for you guys. But I've really been loving soups for the wintertime. Any type of thing I can just throw in this big Dutch oven. This was actually a gift from my sister several years ago, I think for Christmas. And it's honestly the Amazon Basics brand. It's just the cream colored Dutch oven. And I love this thing because now that all of our kids are eating so much, this huge pot literally will make so much food. And I love that because then I can have leftovers. And I love my crock pot, but it is not near as big as this. In my crock pot, I can hardly ever get any sort of leftovers after, just feeding our family once out of it. And so this Dutch oven literally has been one of my favorites. And I definitely lean more towards using this more so. And I think my crock pot is on its last leg. So if it does die, I don't know if I'll buy another one. It is nice to have a crock pot meal, but we're just home so much that it just makes sense sometimes to just, head to the kitchen, whip it together within 15 minutes, and then let it simmer. And that has worked out great. And I know a lot of people love Instant Pots. I am kind of nervous about them, and so I've never really had one. And I just love being able to do the cooking myself, and just to spend that time in the kitchen cutting onions or making a creamy roux, or I just love that part of it. Although, don't get me wrong, crock pots are great, and they are so handy, especially when you're in the trenches with little ones. Well, anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching this day in the life of minimalist homemaking. I really hope you enjoyed. If you're new here, I would love it if you would subscribe and stick around. I get 2 new videos out every week on minimalism, homemaking, and motherhood. Well, thank you guys again, and I will see you next time.